In this video, I wanted to talk to you about setting up your Google Analyticator plugin. Frankly, I always thought it was just called the Google Analytics plugin, but I guess not. Let me see here where we at. Here we are. Google Analyticator. It's a fun word. Now, there's several ways in which you can do this, but I've done it one way, so we're going to just go ahead and do it that way. And who knows? Maybe I'll try something new here. So we go over here to the Settings tab. Of course, once you've got it activated and everything. Oh, and by the by, this is part of the core plugins of the newest version of Traffic Getting SEO plugin. So this will work kind of hand in hand with getting you some good SEO rankings. So if you click on this under the Settings tab, again, we're heading over to Google Analytics, and right here, big red box, we are currently disabled. Well, we want to change that, don't we? So we want to come on down here, and right off the bat, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and register my domain with Google Analytics. So that way we can get the UID and go ahead and slap it in here, and then we'll come on back up here, and we will log in, do the authenticating thing, and then we can change this to enabled, and it should work just fine and dandy. So let's go ahead and see. Because normally what I'll do is I'll go to Google Analytics, sign up for an account, and then get the full batch of JavaScript and place that in the footer portion of my theme. Now then, there's pros and cons to this because, well, let's say for example, well, the way that I normally do it, where I just put the JavaScript in the footer of my theme, that is theme specific, and I kind of touched on this in an earlier video. Whereas one of the cool things with this particular plugin is that it doesn't matter what theme you're changing to, your Google Analytics will remain intact and will continue to report back the stats to Google. So if you were to do this the old way, or actually the way that I normally do it, and go on up here to editor of your theme, and over here you click on footer. Now currently this is just for this particular theme, and if you have more than one theme, and if you, like some people, maybe change your theme as often as you do your clothes, then this will not be the best way to do it unless you add that JavaScript code to each and every one of those themes. But if you just add it to your plugins, then you don't have to worry about what theme you change to. It'll be active, it'll be working. So we come on down here under the footer PHP. One down here, and it's just above, come on down here, just above the closing body tag, and that's the body with the / in it. So right here is where you would put in the code for your Google Analytics. So now then, what the heck am I talking about Google Analytics? Well, first off, you're going to need a Google account of some sort, be it AdWords, Gmail, something relating to Google, even YouTube, I think, or Google Videos at the very least. So I've got this guy right here that we've been working with so far throughout this video series. So I'm currently logged in with this account, and you come on over to google.com/analytics. That'll bring you to a page that looks similar to this, very similar actually, and then you come on down here and you click on sign up. Now, if you do not have a Gmail account, shame on you. You should. It's free. There's no harm in having several Gmail accounts, for that matter, one for every niche that you might be interested in getting into. So anyway, if you don't have a Gmail account, I'm not going to harp on it that much. Just go ahead and get one, at which point you can go ahead and log into Google Analytics. Very easy, because your page will look different if you do not have your account logged in. If you're not logged into your Gmail account or your AdWords account, the sign up page will look a little bit different, so just be forewarned. So anyway, at this point we want to go ahead and put in the URL of our website, which is tweettutorials.com. You don't need all this other stuff here, just this guy right here. Actually, you don't even need that for this particular portion. You leave the HTTP part out because that's covered right here. So right here, just as the example shows, we're going to need to throw in that www more than likely. So let's go ahead and do that. I believe it works fine without the www, but I don't recall, so we're just going to leave that alone. And as you can see here in the example, it does not have a trailing slash or a / at the end. We're going to go ahead and get rid of that. Give it an account name. And this can be anything from Joe Blow, Aunt Martha's account, whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to give it this as the name. And if you have several accounts, then this will come in handy. That way you know which one this was for, rather than just giving it some arbitrary name like, Aunt Martha's account. You'll know that this one has to do with this particular URL. What country, time zone, country US, time zone, pack time, I wish. I'm in the central, no, there's nothing wrong with the central time. And then you go to continue and put in your name, last name, and first name, and then your country or territory again. Then choose your country of preference, click on continue. Of course, you want to read all the terms of service here, and click on yes, because you do agree with the above terms and conditions. Then click on create new account. Drum roll please, you're almost done, and there we are. Now then, this is the JavaScript code I was referring to that you put in the footer, or all I really need for what we're going to be doing here is this right here in between the double quotes. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that in my clipboard, but while I'm here I want to also mention that you can track a couple of different ways here. One, just as we're going to do, a single domain, which is the default setting, or one domain within multiple subdomains, or a multi top level domains, or if you've got an AdWords account going for this particular domain, then you might want to track the results of that as well. In either case, whatever you choose at this point for what we're doing, I'm going with the single domain. And then after you get all this stuff here copied, or as in our case, just this right here, click on save and finish. Now, why am I not copying all that? Because I'm using the plugin. If I were going to be doing it the old way, the way that I normally do, I would get all of that code and put in the footer right here. But with just the plugin that I'm going to be using, I don't need this, because with the plugin, it doesn't matter what theme we're going to be using. Again, that's one of the benefits behind using the plugin. Now, the drawback behind using the plugin, I kind of touched on that in an earlier video, and that is that number one, some plugins do not play nice with others. Frankly, at this point, I've never seen Google Analyticator plugin mess with anything else. Of course, I don't use it very much because, like I said, I use this method here. But in the event that it did, you always have this as a fallback to be able to use Google Analytics to track your stats. So that being said, let's head on back over to our plugins. Actually, no, not plugins, but the settings for our Google Analyticator settings. Come on down here. And right here is where we want to put that code that I've got stashed away in my clipboard. Right, there we go. Now we got this. Let's go ahead and click on this and see what happens, shall we? Yada yada da da da. Let's go ahead and grant access. Click on enabled. Google Analytics account. Let's see what we got here. Just click on that. So far, I think we're good to go. And any of this other stuff here is usually pretty self-explanatory if you do or do not want it taken care of or activated. For example, down here, you may want to track other things like any video downloads or how many times somebody's opened up your MP3 or downloaded your PDF. You may want to put those in here as well. And I think if you've got AdSense ads, you can track that. Additional tracking codes. Additional tracking code after. Okay, and I'm just thinking out loud here, but I believe everything that we need is done. Again, the rest of the stuff here is more personal preference than anything else. Click on Save Changes. Google Analyticator settings are saved. I think we are good to go, folks. Now then, if we go on back here to here. Now, currently, since this is brand new, we're not showing anything under our status. But if you wanted to kind of push things along, I believe that if you click on Edit, you can kind of give Google Analytics a kick in the tail here a bit by check status. And usually it takes about a day to get some good stats here, waiting for data. But this right here is what we're looking for. Analytics has been successfully installed and data is being gathered now. It's kind of a fib because it's not really being gathered right now. There's no data to be gathered. But at least ways you kind of pushed it a tad bit in that direction. So you at this point know that you've done what you need to do to get it started. So as people start flooding your blog, you'll be able to track how they got there, all kinds of cool stuff. And let me see. Well, once you've got it installed, what you want to do is you want to come on back here, say in a day or so, and just check out the stats. You'd be amazed how much information you can gather. Now, this is not a video about Google Analytics. It's a video about how to get Google Analytics onto your blog. So again, there's so much information with Google Analytics that deserves an entire video series in and of itself. But suffice to say that Google Analytics is so powerful that at one point before Google's name was here, it was about, I want to say $5 or $6, maybe even $700 a month service just several years ago. And then Google got a hold of it, and thank you, because they made it free, and the power has increased. Some of the stats have gotten better. Now, and one other thing too, if we head on back over here, I wanted to point out is that by doing it this way versus just getting the code and slapping it in the footer like I normally do, is you also have this cool little widget or a badge that you can throw onto your site as well. If you come on back over here to Appearance, go to Widgets, and let me see here. The widget I'm looking for is Google Analyticator type thing. Here we go, right here. Display stat info from Google Analytics. A nice little badge looking thing on your sidebar. And let me see your title. Just for the sake of this video, we'll go with Goog Stats. You know what I mean. And you've got some additional information here. And if you have several accounts under that particular email address or Gmail address, then you can choose which ones. But I mean, frankly, I would just have one per. But that's just how I roll. Days of data to get, however you want to do this. Let's take a look at this so you can see a little bit more about how this is set up here, so you can then make a better decision on how to tweak this a little bit. Go ahead and click on Save. And then let's head on over to our site and take a look-see at it. I'll open this up in a new tab here because I'm not done showing you more plugins and how they work. Let me see here. Here we are. Here's a little badge I was talking about. And again, you can put whatever name you want up here. Currently we have a gazillion visitors, and you can see that you can make all kinds of changes here, color, background, and let me see what else we got going on. Yeah, background color, days of data to get. So if you want this for every 30 days, 90 days, whatever, widget background color, inner background, font color, pretty customizable. And that's going to bring us to the end of this video on Google Analytics plugin. I hope you learned something. Now, you definitely need to get out there and hook up with Google Analytics because you can't beat the price, and you definitely need the information provided. So thank you very much for watching this video. You have a great day.